Look who I've got here. I got Ismael. Thank you so much for coming, Ismael. Ismael PEREZ, author of The Secret Government from years ago and Our Cosmic Origin. What is it, first and second editions now?
Yes. Yeah, the second edition is by far a better read. It's been re-edited. I was able to verify it before I went to print, so I wasn't sabotaged for the second edition. And I did add another chapter that segues into what happens after the Ascension.
Right. And I'm glad you came out with it. I did read the first, and I have the second one, and I know that you had, is it just the one chapter you added? We talked about two, and I haven't been able to crack the book open because it's been so busy. I'm wondering, you've also been very, very busy yourself. You've been doing these meditations and wonderful things going on, with the Lightwork community. So I don't know what you want to, I'm going to let you go where you want to go to start. What you feel like you want to talk about today, to get started off. And we'll just go from there because I'm winging it.
Well, if you want, we could answer questions from the audience as well, because we can go into any direction. But these massive. I've been putting together these worldwide meditations for the last couple months, and they've been working out. The first one we had over 15,000 people live streaming on all these different platforms. We had Tim Tactics from Gaia. Among other light warriors that were helping streaming it. Jennifer from JK Ultra, who it has like over 500,000 following on TikTok. So it was very beneficial, and we are actually deciding to do it by monthly now. So we just finished our third global mass meditation, which was about a few days ago on the 4th. And so we are doing them on the days that align with like portal alignment, when the full moon is about to get into powerful energetic state of emitting light, right, when it's a full moon, and then of course when it's a new moon, so that way we could amplify the energy and establish a very positive timeline for all of humanity. Because as I speak right now, there are an infinite number of parallel Earths, each with its own version. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we completely ground the optimal ascending positive timeline for all of humanity. So that's what I've been doing lately as far as like on social media. But I've also been very busy speaking at expos, attending these different expos, meeting a lot of the starseeds out there that have been coming. I will be in San Rafael from the 14th to the 16th next week, San Rafael, Northern California, at the New Living Expo. I will be part of a panel on Friday night, and I will be speaking Sunday. I'm going to give a hour lecture on our cosmic origin, break down the entire cosmic history of the Earth. And then the next day, I'm going to be in Sebastopol on the 17th, which is Monday. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour lecture at the Subud Center Hall in Sebastopol, California. Mm-hmm. And the following day, on the 18th, I'm going to be doing an interactive workshop for 3 hours. I'm going to be going... I'm going to be breaking down the different star races, their qualities, their characteristics, so that way the soul family could get acquainted with the different star races out there, both benevolent and negative. Of course, we want to make sure that we, explain who these races are and the difference between the good guys from the bad guys. I'm also going to go over dimensions. I'm going to go over chakras. And then, of course, I'm going to break down the galactic history and how it all relates to the times that we're living in now. I'm going to talk about Ascension, DNA activation. It's going to be mind-blowing, guys. So if you guys want to get your tickets, I will give Melissa a link. The tickets are only like $50 for the interactive workshop in Sebastopol, California. And again, that's going to be on the 17th and 18th of April. So if you guys want to, drive down to Sebastopol for $50, you guys get to interact with me for 3 hours. It's going to be fun.
I'm on the other end of the continent, East Coast. You never get past what? New Mexico? No, just kidding. You were in
Well,
Florida.
I was in
Yes.
Florida, and then I was also in Georgia back in November. But I will be continuing a book tour this August. I'm going to be going over to New York. I'm going to be going over to Tennessee, perhaps New Jersey, and some of the major East Coast cities as well, just to kind of give other people an opportunity to come and meet and greet and get their book signed, of course.
I have 2 books to be signed. And
Okay.
Ishmael, do you I know you had a website for the book, but like I don't know if that was your website or someone else's, but do you have a place where you put, and I know that you love your Instagram. So, but do you post anything like for slowpokes like me, like a website I can go check it, or maybe your YouTube channel someplace on there, a community board? I know you don't use it. Like I use it a lot. I use my YouTube thing a lot, but I'm not so fluid with the TikTok or the Instagram. I do use them, but I'm a little slow with it. So is anything posted anywhere where you have a schedule so people can come and see you or know what state you're going to be in? I mean, or maybe you don't want to give that information out too long in advance. I don't know if you have people that really want to see it those live.
Well, I do post on all my platforms, including my YouTube, when I'm going to be visiting or attending a certain event, just to give everybody the heads up where I'm going to be. But I do have a website now. It's under ourcosmicorigin.com. Our cosmic origin, one word, .com. And then in my website, you actually have access to all my links and where to find me. So I'm going to be I'm going to start doing where I'm reading the different chapters of my book, and I'm going to start posting audio versions of each chapter on my YouTube channel, starting in the March of May.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Because you're coded, right? Anita and I meet Anita Marie Calamo. We've been working very closely together. I haven't seen you in 6 months, Ishmael. There's been so many things going on for all of us. So Anita came along October and then December, and here we are into the new year, and lots of stuff, lots of productivity and interesting things. And I know you're a cosmic ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think all of us are. I think every starseed, every volunteer soul that is down here is a emissary for the Galactic Alliance and the Guardian Race Treaty. But a lot of us have forgotten, who we were up there before we decided to incarnate down here. So I just happened to be awakened, from an early age. Mm-hmm. That's why I consider myself an ambassador, as a liaison, as every starseed is, between the galactic cosmic communities and, of course, the Earth. Because that's our purpose, guys. Our purpose is to bring forth disclosure so that we could reinstate the Earth back into the galactic community.
So, now that you've gotten onto the galactic, that's really where it's going to start off with. Connecting into our galactic families, our guides. How do you do it? I know that you talk about the Kriya Yoga, mm-hmm. and you talk about meditation, you talk about eating clean, getting exercise, drinking lots of water, all the good stuff, and keeping our minds in a positive frequency. The minute we start to go negative, we try to, discipline ourselves to bring it back to the positive. This is really good information for everyone. We all need to do it. We all need to remind ourselves to do it. And so is there anything you can tell the audience how to connect in? How do you do it? What is your process? How does someone begin to do this so everybody can start to tune into their own internal guidance?
Well, there is a method. There is a method that I teach in my class, Starseed Cosmology. It's a 6-hour course, 2 hours a week. And at the end of the third class, I teach the method that was actually revealed to me by Michael the Archangel, Lord Mikal, who is the overseer of the 12 creation. And through this meditation, using visualization, the 12 chakra systems, the 13 chakra systems, we're able to connect with different levels of reality beyond our human self, so that we could begin to access the Akashic records, our multidimensional selves, because we do exist in all the dimensions, by the way. We do exist in every timeline, both in the future and in the past. We just, you know, we're just, I guess, imperceptive to that aspect of ourselves. But as we do this meditation, this method that I teach called the Michael meditation, it really helps people to become more multidimensional, so that they can begin connecting with their, first and foremost, their higher self, their galactic self. And then by connecting with their galactic self, they're going to be able to actually interact with their star family. So I happen to be part of various councils. The first council that I work with is the Council of the Lyran Elohim, of the first feline race. As the chief guardian, or as the chief of the Council of Lyrans, I am very active in the 8th dimension, as well as in the 12th dimension, as a Lyran chief. I also work with the Syrian High Council of Elders, which is the Council of the 12. Well, now it's going to be the Council of the 13th, as we enter the 13th creation. And I also work with Alcyon, the Pleiadian Council of the Ruby Order, as well as the Intergalactic Overall Council of the Emerald Order, which comprised of over 700 million universes. So I work with various councils.
Okay. So when you meditate, I'm sure you don't connect with all of them at the same time, but is there any particular, guide or entity that you like to work with in particular, or is it your higher self, or how to?
Just my higher self. Yes.
Okay.
I work directly with Prime Creator. I go directly to source. I try not to use crutches, or what I mean by crutches is I try to bypass all the ascended masters and the archangels.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they are all loved and they're all functionaries of the divine, I respect them all, but I try to go directly to through my higher self into source. So that way, it's just me and God, without any mediator of some kind.
That makes sense. For a beginner, do you recommend just talking to God, or higher self? How do you?
Well, we're living in a time where all the mediums, we're all becoming our own sovereign master. So we're living in a time where we have to see our higher self as the savior, as God, without invoking the help of any angelic or any ascended being. However, I do have great respect for all those workers out there, which are functionaries of the One. But people need to remember that this time around, as we enter the age of Aquarius, which corresponds to the age of accountability, we have to remember that we are God in embodiment. And therefore, we have the same divine qualities and attributes of the ascended beings, of the angels, and all the different light beings that are serving the cosmic one.
So Ismael, hi, it's a pleasure to be here. I was hoping I could maybe interject for a moment. When you're working with the councils, let's say in particular, when you work with the Alcyon Council, what exactly are you doing on the Alcyon Council? Are you working with the Great Central Sun as well?
Absolutely, yes. The Alcyon Council, it works under the direction of the Syrian Council. The Syrian Council is the anchor point of the Great Central Sun in our universe. The core of the galaxy is where we anchor this, the information that comes through all the different levels of reality. Through the central sun, the information first comes to Sirius, and then we anchor it over to Alcyon. And then, of course, our solar system is part of the Alcyon system, which consists of over 52 different star nations, which is our local star cluster that we belong to. So in terms of, like, say, the Urantia material, we're part of the 24th system, which is the Pleiades. In turn, the Pleiades revolves around the constellation of Sirius, which they call Norlautidec, which is system number 70. And then system number 70, which is one of, I'm sorry?
All right. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, we glitched out for a second. You did, and I did.
Okay. So basically,
24th. The 24th.
Yeah, we're in our organized multiverse. Our Earth is part of a cluster of stars known as the Pleiades. So, we're the eighth missing sister. You hear of the seven sisters with Alcyon, Maya, Electra, Merope, Taygeta, so on and so forth. Well, that's the 24th system. It's called the 24th system in an organized cosmos that revolves around the 70th constellation, which is Sirius. So in our local universe, Sirius is the anchor point of the great central sun of Salvington, which is the dimension number 12 that comes from the central sun of our local universe. And in the organization of cosmos, our local universe is number 84. So we're part of the 24th system in the 70th constellation. And then 70
Alcyon is working underneath.
Yes, Alcyon is underneath Sirius. So you could say that Alcyon is, in terms of like stars being beings, you could say that Alcyon was birthed by Sirius, and then in turn, our star is also birthed by Alcyon. So our Sirius is our great grandparent star, and that's why that's why in our galaxy we are the family of light. The Lyrians, the Sirians, the Andromedans, the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Procyons, the Taucetes, the people of Aldebaran. I mean, these are all different humanoid civilizations that have been part of the family of light.
Have you heard of a connection with? I'm sorry, Melissa, I didn't mean to step in there. Go ahead.
Please, I was. You asked about Alcyon 7D, and then he went on to Sirian, and then they're all connected, and Sirius was here first. And anyway,
have you had a connection with Sirius B, with the council having their whales here, working in conjunction with helping with God's abundance here, holding down light codes? Have you gotten information with that?
Of Sirius B?
Yeah, with the whales here holding in the light codes for.
Yeah, it turns out that there's a great deal of starseeds that are actually guardians from Sirius B that are here on the Earth, anchoring in those light codes that you just mentioned. Yeah, so a lot of us, our carriers are templates, beyond the 12th strand. Some of us are here to anchor in the 24th strands. Some of us are here to anchor in the 48 strands, which go beyond our crystalline structure into levels of reality that will surpass any, specimen or any alien out there right now. I hate using the word alien, but the way we were designed is we were designed to become even more powerful than those that have existed before us.
That's the activation of the all of the genes, the DNA that we have is the 12D superhuman stepping into our superpowers that you talk about.
Stacy just asked, what council do the Blue Avians work with? The Blue Avians are part of the what is called the Avion, the Anu Elohim, the Blue Avians. Yeah, they're part of the Syrian Council as well. It turns out that we have two different major specimens that are working with the Syrian Council. The first one are the felines, and then is a group of bird-like people known as the Blue Avians. And the Blue Avians are actually also part of what is known as the Rock Confederacy, which is a ninth dimensional collective. Just to answer Stacy's question in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, you're on there. You're better than I am. You're used to these chat things. Anita, did you have any other question for him? Because then I have.
Yeah, we talked about a whole bunch of different things that we're going to talk to you, Ismael, about. I guess the biggest thing is working in knowing that you're being a clear channel and getting the clearest information. My question is, this history about the cosmos is really important, things that are really important for us to know. And as we look at the information that you are gifting us with, how is it to best serve us in connecting in and maybe becoming better and moving toward our ascended, Christed positions that we need to move toward? What advice would you give for us to be able to use your information?
We integrate it. We integrate the information so that we could become better versions of ourselves. Because one of the things that I'm here to do is to remind the starseeds that we are the predicted return of the, they call us by many names, angels, Elohim, gods, Anunnaki, the positive Anunnaki, of course.
Right.
So we are all of that. We are what every ancient manuscript called the return of the elect, the return of the 144,000, which is symbolic to a hertz, a type of frequency. Nothing to do with just 144,000 individuals, because there are millions of us down here.
Yeah.
So my advice is to understand. In order to understand where we're heading, we have to understand where we came from. And so it's best to integrate all this information so that we could become better versions of ourselves. And in so doing, we could become our own savior. When we become our own savior, we affect the collective. So I just want everybody to know that we're not expecting an external savior this time. No one's going to come and save us. We are the ones everyone's expecting.
Mm-hmm. And to live responsibly, and take responsibility for our actions, and when we're wrong, take care of that, and
exactly
live honestly.
It is the age of accountability. We have to be accountable for what we do.
Yep.
Because the whole multiverse, the organic multiverse, is depending on us to make sure that we anchor in and fully establish the optimal positive timeline. Because what happens here is going to affect everywhere in the universe, not just in our local universe, but because we are part of the seventh super universe of Orvonton, which consists of over 700 million universes, we're going to affect the entire, which is one segment of the entire omniverse, central motherverse. So that's how important our task here is on the Earth. We are also the completion of the first outer space level, which is going to complete the super universe segment known as Orvonton. And so we have to remember that.
So Becky has a question. How do you not judge the troublesome energies that incite wars while also warring with them? What is the way of being here that is balance?
The best thing to do is just remember that our perception and our consciousness co-creates reality. So it is best to ignore the negative people, the warmongering fear porn, and just focus on the positive. Because when you allow your mind to entertain thoughts of like fear, propaganda, and war, you're actually contributing to that reality. Like I said earlier, there are different parallel Earths that are coexisting at this time. There will be a timeline split very soon. So depending on where your attention is and your focus is, that will ultimately determine in which Earth you end up in. So just remember that.
You feel really focused on the fact that you believe that there will be a bifurcation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the bifurcation? Explain it in maybe terms that would make it understandable for people who are still trying to understand the idea of timelines and how that affects us, and how these parallel universes and timelines sort of, built up against, with each other.
Okay. So every ancient record, every prophetic oracle talked about a time when the Earth would be restored to her original glory. So that's what they call the spiritual Earth. They said that when the time was right, when the time approached at the end of the great cycle, which is the 26,000-year cycle, that the Earth would once again be restored into her glory. So the bifurcation of timeline is similar to what the Christians call the harvest, where only the wicked are going to be eliminated due through the solar flash. So it's actually the bifurcation of timeline is also intimately connected with the great solar flash. When the sun releases that final flash, which is already amping up to that point, I mean, they're just increasing. It's going to change everything on the Earth, and only the wicked are going to be removed. But at the same time, the wicked are going to be removed from the positive reality, and only the righteous are going to be moving up into the positive reality, while the wicked are kind of like eliminated from the positive Earth. So there is going to be a type of frequency split, not a physical split, but a split in vibrational frequencies. And that's what the bifurcation of timeline is a bifurcation where one Earth is going to go up into dimensions 4, 5, and 6, which is the Terra Earth, and the other Earth is going to go into a negative scenario where the AI will rule for 1,000 years for those that don't make the positive Earth. So you want to make sure that you don't end up on the negative positive timeline. That's for sure.
Well, I have kind of a question. There's this concept of collapsing timelines. That we're integrating our, varied selves from the other dimensions, right, into this now, because we have the DNA that is activating now because of the solar situation, and also from us learning and raising our frequencies. We're bringing in our higher, or the other, the dimensions, and into this now moment. So that's like a collapsing of a timeline. So we have multiple timelines coming into the now, into our existence. But then there's this other bifurcation thing going on at the same time. So it's a little, rough for people to understand that, I believe. I understand.
Yeah, well, in the positive split, all the dimensions are going to come back into a singularity with one another, all the way to the 12th, beyond the 5th. So there's going to be an integration, a synchronization of dimensions. But in the negative timeline, it's almost like those that go into the negative timeline are going to be thrown further into a simulation that is ultimately a digital type of reality, like a video game, a further matrix, worse than this one.
More difficult lessons, but eventually it all goes back to source at some point, even if it's rough for another 26,000 year cycle or whatever it is. Their sole choices are to go and learn some more. They're not ready. They don't want to go forward.
At the end of the millennium, we are going to have one final clash against the AI god and the AI timeline, and we do win that war. And then that's when a whole new era begins in the cosmos, as we bring peace to the rest of the multiverse.
Right.
Okay. That's the last war. It's called war at the end of the millennium.
So Monica's asking, she's asking, when does first contact? Now, you get this question all the time. It's been always. So when it's time, when is first contact? Let's have you answer that question.
Well, I've always believed that it was between 2018 and 2024. But due to the timeline wars, again, it's a timeline wars is the fourth phase of this war with artificial intelligence that is taking place in the future between our future selves as angelic superhumans and the AI. Things are constantly fluctuating, but I would say that to give a time frame, I would say by no later than 2028, we should have first contact with the Guardian Alliance and the benevolent races.
That's okay. Thank you for that. So I don't know what Becky means by the singularity. I'm thinking that means the what you just said about the higher dimensions coming into one timeline.
Yeah, well, there's two types of singularities. There's the organic singularity, which is the ascending positive timeline where all the dimensions that are currently separated through vibration come back into alignment. And depending on where you're vibrating, you're going to, either go into dimensions 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 12. And then there's the technological singularity, the fourth industrial revolution, which is what Klaus Schwab and the big techs are, advertising and promoting, which has to do with when the AI itself reaches a level of intelligence beyond humans, and it connects through a type of Skynet all around the world. Through the Internet of Things, and becomes all-knowing. But again, that is the negative timeline where there's going to be, before it gets to that point, before Google arrives to that point, sorry to throw them under the table, there will be that bifurcation of times.
I'm not putting my focus there. I will tell you that right now.
Not my timeline.
So now we have let's go to the humanitarian stuff, because that's the positive good stuff, and that's the God frequency, the God abundance that we want to really build our new lives with, and focus on the happiness and the joy and the freedoms, and not so much on what's going to happen if, because we got to stay like now. What are we doing right now in this now moment? So Emerald Dragon is asking, as far as humanitarians, many gurus are still pushing platforms, chats, programs, meetings. Will these platforms even be utilized in 5D?
Not in 5D, because in 5D, we're all going to be connected with our higher self. And any question that we ask is going to be immediately revealed to us. Not only that, but we're going to have access to infinite intelligence.
Yeah.
Because 5D corresponds with the quantum level of reality.
But can't we do that now? Can't we do that now through the meditation? I mean, really tune into the higher frequency. You're tuning into God frequency by going right to source.
Exactly. But in 5D, everyone's going to be able to do that. And
Naturally.
therefore, the age of gurus and the age of spiritual masters is all coming to an end. Hierarchies coming to an end. Governments coming to an end. There will be no government. There will be no economy, because everyone's going to be able to manifest things at the speed of light by connecting to their life. Yes.
I can't wait. Oh boy. So
do you see that there's going to be a transition period between the third dimension moving through to the fifth dimension? Or do you think that
it's already happening? Yeah, we're currently in the fourth dimension, by the way. We're no longer in the third.
Do you see that there could be this humanitarian rollout now in the fourth dimension that's connecting us to finally be able to connect into the fifth dimension as we actually move in to the higher realms?
Yes, correct.
And how do you see that rolling out?
Through the solar flash. Yeah, once the solar flash happens, the star seeds, the advanced souls that are in human form, are automatically going to be catapulted into 5 dimension and up. And then that's when we're going to be like a superhuman. We're going to have these divine godlike abilities. Whereas, for the Earth Terrans, the young souls that go into the fourth dimension, because we're going to have the ability to step down frequency and pop into their reality. For those that are like in religion, the religious people are going to see us as angels. The New Age spiritual community is going to see us as the return of the gods and goddesses. The scientists are going to label us the next stage of human evolution. They're going to call us Homo superior. And so everyone's going to have a different terminology to describe us. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
And this is the organic way of human 3.0, not the transhumanist version. That's going to be
another thing.
That's a whole sort of thing.
Okay, have another question here. Where does the Council of 9 come from?
The Council of 9 is a council that works with the 22 federated regions that oversee the development of our own galaxy. Every galaxy has its own Council of 9, but overall, each galaxy is under the Council of 12, which is at the center of our universe. So you have different divine councils, all the way from the central universe to the super universe level to the local universes. And in each galaxy has a council. And then within each galaxy, you have a council that oversees constellations. You have a council that oversees systems within constellations. And then within each system, you have a council that oversees each planet.
Yeah, so it's like, which Council of 9? Oh, there's so many.
Yeah,
different numbers.
In our galaxy, the Council of 9 is like the Ashtar Command. That's how they identify themselves. Yeah. The airborne division of the of the White Brotherhood. Exactly.
Yep.
So when you work in the higher levels with the councils, would you be able to talk to us about some of the work that you do with them?
A lot of the work that we do is to protect and seal a lot of the stargates around not only the Earth and our solar system, but also within our galaxy. Yeah, because our galaxy is about to re-merge back with Andromeda, as it once was before it was severed by the AI god. So other things that we do is we also protect a lot of the worlds that are undergoing ascension. We not intervene, but we influence things from the higher realms to make sure that each planet has a healthy ascension.
So you're supporting their ascension process, but you're probably also, as guardians, upholding universal law and
we have to,
making sure that is happening.
Exactly. And then another thing that we have been doing is, there's a few skirmishes that have been taking place between some of the insectoids and some of the greys. And then, of course, some of the AI. We've been having a huge issue with many AIs, particularly one is known as the Borg. The Borg is not a very friendly specimen. They're
What
actually
part of the universe?
biology. I'm sorry?
How far from us is that? Like, what part of the universe are we talking about?
The Borg actually infiltrated our galaxy from the Sombrero galaxy, which is 36 light years from the Milky Way. And then we have another AI that comes from the galaxy known as I forget the name of that galaxy, but it'll come to me. But there's various galaxies within our local universe that are still contaminated by some of these AIs. So, a lot of the times we are fighting these AIs in interstellar way, but also we're dealing with all the commanders that betrayed the Guardian Alliance. When Enki came back 2 years ago, Enki kind of, infiltrated us, and he did a lot of damage to the Federation. And so that's why we had to reorganize the Federation into the Galactic Alliance in the last 2 years, because of the return of Enki, who is pretty much Lucifer. He's the one who sided with AI, and now he's like a cyborg and stuff.
Okay. Got another one here. The Aquarian Gospel. Have you read the Aquarian Gospel? And
no, I've never even.
Okay.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, I have it.
There's about 711 books that were left out of the Bible. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
How many books out there were left out of the Bible.
Okay, we're back to the Syrians. What about the Blue Lodge with the Syrian in the Syrian area?
Yeah, that's the Council of the Blu-ray. Yeah, the big blue star is Sirius. So in my book, I associate that with the Anuhasi, which is the Guardian race, the Jedi, representing the Jedi bloodline, as opposed to the Sith. The Sith is represented by the red. Yeah, George Lucas actually tapped into our own galactic history to write the movie Star Wars. So he did very well in depicting, the light with blue, the color blue, the Jedi, and the red with reptilian.
So I thought the Sith were dark. I mean, according to
they're represented by the color red, which is corresponding to the lower chakras, which has a lot to do with survival, animosity, manipulation.
Root. The root chakra.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Control.
Whereas the blue chakra, the blue chakra, which is what is it related to our throat, and it's related to protection, speaking truth, and then of course when you study about the 12 universes and the 12 solar planes, Michael, who is the holder of the Clusian plane of power and divine rulership, is characterized by the color what?
Blue.
Exactly.
Blue.
That's exactly blue.
Blue's in the background. He's here. We invited him. No, they're all here.
Well, Michael is the creator son of our universe. He's what we call our heavenly father.
Yeah. I love that you a lot of times you talk about conversation with him. He's directing you. Now I know you're going to source more, but I know that I have a sort of I don't know, it's been about 13 years. Michael has been the favorite go-to, but yeah, source has come in lately, and it's all good. They're all on the same team. I'm not talking to any Sith people or that stuff. No. So let's see. Got some more here. Unless Anita has something that she wants to bring up, or any comments from any
I guess part of it too is I'm curious in terms of the work that you're doing here in our dimension here. Are you channeling most of the work that you're getting from the higher realms to help us? Is that where most of this information is coming from? Or are you able to actually have access to some of the ancient texts, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both, yes.
Which texts would you say give you the best information, that if people did want to go back to some of the ancient texts, which ones would you offer as having, really good information for people to look back if they want to do some research on their own?
Well, all of the texts that are in circulation have all been corrupted. The only texts I would say that are not corrupted are found in the Akashic field within the etheric field, But I would say the CDT plates of the Emerald Order, the original plates that were that existed during the times of Atlantis. But that information itself was also corrupted by Thoth in Egypt when he wrote the Emerald Tablet. He drew from that information and then recorded some of the knowledge in the Emerald Order and when he wrote the Emerald Tablets. So I would say that the best thing to do is go within yourself and have just that direct connection to your higher self, because your higher self is still in tune and knows. In fact, it is embedded in our DNA, the real history of our universe, which actually goes back to billions of years. If you are really, it's good to read and do research, especially through studying quantum science and all the cutting edge information that quantum science offers. But the best thing to do is learn how to trust yourself, learn how to go within and access the information for yourself, because it is embedded in our DNA. In fact, DNA is a storage of information that goes back to 16 billion years ago. So
it's just a matter of people learning how to activate their DNA so they can release that knowledge by bringing the light in and letting themselves do that while raising their frequency. And so for many of us, that's a journey of going into our hearts and, bringing ourselves down into that heart space to connect in. Would you agree with that connecting through the heart is the place to go?
Of course, yeah. The heart is, it's like equivalent to the central sun within you. As we are holographic micro versions of the universe, even the central sun exists within us, which is in the heart, which is where the halls of records are. But again, I strongly suggest, I don't know if people have taken my course online, Starseed Cosmology, I strongly suggest to take my online course, guys. It's very informative. And again, the best thing is that I do teach you those techniques at the end of the third class.
Okay. Yeah, because
that's openings in May.
I'm sorry?
I do have openings in May for the Starseed.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to, of course, put all of that information in the links below this chat when it goes up there on video. Okay.
And what I could do, Melissa, is send you the direct link to my class so we could bypass the Mystic Arts and the all of the classes.
Thank you.
So, that way you guys only have access to my class and not the elemental magic and all that stuff.
People aren't really they just want to go right through cosmology stuff, the stuff that you do. That's good. You give me that. Okay. Right. So solar flash, will it wash out the damage that the shots? You get this question a lot, and restore bodies. Absolutely, yeah. It's going to act like an EMP to eliminate all the graphene oxide. So people are going to be okay. We don't worry about, if you were forced to get the first or the second, thing, don't worry. You'll be fine. Stay positive. Exactly. Share that with whomever. Don't let them go down into that, fear situation. You lose all your power doing that. This is an interesting question. So did you say, or maybe, this is a question for you, Ishmael, from someone who's listened to you. Yeshua, Ben Joseph, and Mary Magdalene had second daughter, Sarah. Sarah was the first by name, Rachel. Rahel is King Arthur from that bloodline. You know the answer. I've heard you say it. Yeah. Yes. It's all tied to the that inheritance. Yes, King Arthur is the rightful heir to the throne of England. Mm-hmm. Well, his bloodline is, of course, he's no longer with us in physical, but in body. He sure is around us. Yes, exactly. Well, there's a lot of descendants that come from the Holy Grail. They just don't know who they are. And many people are associating them with the members of the White Hats, like Princess Diana, JFK Jr., his son, JFK and his son. And then, of course, even Trump, many believe that Trump comes from the bloodline of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why it's really a war. It's the war that we've been fighting. When you think about it, technically, it's a war of bloodlines that goes back to ancient times between the lineage of Zeus, Enlil, and the lineage of Enki, Poseidon, Lucifer. Well, Zeus, it goes off planet. I'm sorry? It goes all the way up to the top.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to the
Samana.
Sith lineage and the lineage of the Blu-ray, which is Jedi. The Jedi is the Christ line. The Sith line is the reptilian lineage. Yeah.
And there is good and bad. You know, things go back and forth. That's the other part that people have a lot of difficulty with. You get some truth and some not truth. And that's why it's so important to learn that discernment going into your heart, sitting with it. How do you feel about it? How's your heart feeling versus your mind? Because the mind can deceive us, but the heart always our body tells us when something isn't right. It's just, this doesn't always listen to the heart. And then we get into this dilemma. But that discernment is a heartfelt operation, which is what Anita was bringing up. You know, take in the information, let it sit in the heart, and then go from there. I mean, those are the rules of the road. You know, we can't, what is it? Don't give the keys to the Maserati, you know, to someone that hasn't really been able to work that out. So Ismael's saying that he's got a class that, for those who are just starting out with this, you can go and get it right from him, what his methods are, how to turn in like that. So we're grateful for that. And you've been given that course all along. I know I took a course last year with you, last July. It's already almost, well, it's coming, we're coming into April now. But,
It flies, huh?
oh my gosh. And more lately. So recently, how have you been feeling as far as time speeding up and people showing up in your life that you know are being brought to you to carry out your mission? Because I know Anita and I have been feeling this lately. So have you been experiencing that as well?
Synchronicities all the time. Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's what happens when you're aligned with your mission and your purpose. The universe will provide the right people that will actually take you there even further. That's just the way things work, you know. It's called the law of resonance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Universal law.
Exactly.
And with the timelines collapsing, it seems to be speeding up things even more. And the synchronicities, I think, are happening at even a higher rate. And I think it's also because many of us are doing the work, our frequencies are increasing. So that is increasing the resonance that you get, like the law of attraction. So it's all coming together pretty quickly.
It is. And it's all leading to 0 point, guys. As time speeds up, it's because time has a swirl, you know, like it started off for billions of years, and it's just, as it goes further down, it becomes smaller and smaller. So we're actually at that point where it's just going to hit 0 point, and that's when the solar flux takes place, which is really a cosmic reset. That's what it is. It's a cosmic reset of reality, where there's going to be a translation of reality from one level to the next without tasting death, which is awesome.
It stops. It's almost like the Big Bang. It stops and then it reverses. Is that the reset? Like, not to use that word reset because it has so many other connotations, but you know, the involution of the spirits, like what we're saying, collapsing timelines into our own individual realities. It's mirroring the microcosm to the macrocosm, right down to the structure of the cosmos, right? Because you mentioned about the sun and the little planets. Well, you know, got it on an atomic level as well. And then also with the way that planets are generated, you talk about it all the time. You make it simple, you know, 10 words or less, and then you gave us that Stargate, my favorite video you ever did. How to make a Stargate in 45 minutes flat, and you told us the whole structure and dialed it all the way down. But it can be simple if we don't complicate it. We do have a tendency, humanity, to complicate things and read a lot of things into things that again, it's the mind versus the heart. Here's a question for you, Ismael. Are you noticing a change in people you meet in your travels, or a shift in conscious, a positive? I'm assuming this is
absolutely
seeing it. Yeah.
People that are in the awakened community that are like us, they're constantly relating to me, you know, their life, their changes, you know, the things that they're experiencing, epiphanies, synchronicities, just beautiful messages that they've been getting in. And it's been very positive. It's been very positive for a lot of people. So that's great. I'm excited for everyone that is already vibrating with the new Earth, because that's a byproduct of vibrating with the new Earth is just experiencing positive thing after positive thing.
Being able to be in that state of joy, and
Exactly.
state of joy. So we have a question here from Wendy Palace. She asks, Ishmael, do you have any insight on the quantum financial reset?
It's in progress. I would say maybe by no later than I would say by this month. I think it might gear towards middle next week perhaps, but everything is aligning towards the spring of 2023, where it's going to be the great transition, right? The great transfer over into the new system. The rainbow back currency of the White Hats and the Earth Alliance coming into power as they bring down the cabal, and I think that's why they had to arrest Mr. T, because that's going to open up a can of worms in a sense where they're going to dig up more, corruption, and that's going to expose a lot of the real corruption.
One Congress member already filed something with a New York person that was involved with the Mr. T thing. I'm not going any further with that because we don't talk that stuff on this channel, but that fast, that's what that opened up. The legal system, the 3D or 4D legal system to precedent for going after the other word, president, right? So it's interesting. See what happens. It'll happen rapidly.
Exactly. So we should expect the arrest of the real criminals very soon.
Yeah. So related to the funding, will XRP XLM be the bridge to the QFS during the transition 4D?
From what I understand, yes.
Seems like that's what it's going to be. Anita, I was going to ask, do you have any other questions from anyone?
I was just wondering if you had any connection with any of the quantum system work that's been around, and working with the councils or any of that work. Have you connected in with anything with the quantum system?
Yes, both on the physical level. I am connected to a couple individuals who are actually part of the Earth Alliance physically, and then also on a spiritual, non-physical level, through higher aspects of myself. I am very involved in this transition. Yes, very connected.
Okay, great. It's good to know that we've got that connection that's both physically connected in with the quantum system, and then of course it's up through the higher dimensions that it's connected in with to help support us through our transition.
Yeah, and we can talk, and through our heart space, pretty much if we put our consciousness on anything, we can speak to. We can even talk to other people that are in our dimension here through thought process, rather than sometimes it's hard to speak, face to face, or, maybe you're not communicating well. And that's sort of a way that it's a superpower. We just haven't really used it because we didn't know. We forgot about it. We were, sort of cut off from all that stuff for so long. So, I mean, all this
we
back
tendency to limit ourselves too, because we still think in terms of what we've been used to. And when you start putting your consciousness forward to start doing the things that are outside of the box, big things happen and big changes occur, so it's kind of exciting to watch that happen.
Yep. Exactly.
So I've had you for an hour. Are there any? I don't want to overburden you with us, but are there any other insights or pieces of information you want me to maybe put up here? For our audience. Any last minute thoughts you want to leave?
It's very important to only put our focus on the positive timeline. Also, remember that your emotion is key in manifestation. You have to feel what it's like to either have what you need or desire, or to become what you want. Feel it in yourself. The more you feel it, the more you will. The universe will bring you that into your reality. More than anything is your emotional state of being. Being mindful. Your thoughts are also co-creating the collective reality of humanity. And for those that haven't read my book, make sure you get the new edition, because it's been completely restructured, read more clearly.
Well, we know them. Yeah. I'll show them because I have the two.
Yeah.
That's the first edition, and
Mhm.
this is the other edition. And don't bother with Amazon, right? Go to your website, right?
Yeah, go to my website. I'll give you the link to my website and order directly from my website. I mean, it's going to take you to the Amazon link for the new version, because if you don't go through my website, they're going to send you out the old version. So you might want to make sure.
Two times I got this. Two
I know.
times, and then finally.
Also,
You have to get that
I'm also going to give you the direct link to my course for May. I do have some openings in May for my Starseed course.
Awesome. You do that, and then I'll put it underneath. You folks that are here today, look under the description on under the live under the chat recording. It'll be great.
Oh, another thing, I'm going to be just to make some announcements. I'm going to be at the New Living Expo next week from the 14th to the 16th in San Rafael. I will be delivering a powerful message. I'm going to be in Sebastopol on the 18th, 17th, and 18th as well in Northern California. On the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I'm going to be at the Ascension conference in San Diego. At the, I think it's called something Village, Seaport Village. I don't know what they call it. And then on the 28th and 29th, I'm going to be in Hawaii at the Truther Convention. So I'm going to be one of the speakers there as well.
I'm going to make you give me all of that information, and I'm going to post it right here so they can come to the links. They can see your little itinerary, and everything's in a little nice package with a bow on it, organized.
Okay. Oh, and one last thing. In June, at the end of June, I think the 24th, 25th, and 26th, I'm going to be at the Mount Shasta convention.
Oh gosh, that's nice. 1 year I'll get there. 1 year. Maybe sooner than we think.
Thank you for making me a part of this, Melissa, and being able to spend some time with you, Ismael. It's been a real pleasure, and I just want to say thank you for all that you do and for anchoring in the light. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and being so gracious. And we'll see you again, and I'm hoping before the end of the year. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. All of your questions.
Everybody.
Love you. And thanks again, Ismael. We'll see you soon. Email. You can email me or stay on a minute. Stay on. I'm going to end the broadcast. Bye, everybody. Okay.